working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Timera, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. And on today's headlines. And now to the news. President Rodrigo Duterte on Wednesday night challenged 3 Western countries to help the Philippines make a stand against China and claim its territories in the disputed South China Sea. Duterte posed this challenge to the United States, Great Britain, and France after clearly being frustrated by criticism that he has failed to confront China over its aggression in the contested waters. He has also been criticized for seemingly lacking empathy for the 22 fishermen whose boat sunk after allegedly being rammed and abandoned by a Chinese vessel at the Recto Bank or Reed Bank in the West Philippine Sea. Duterte, however, said he did not want to endanger the lives of millions of Filipinos by going to war against China. He shrugged off critics who claimed going to war against China was too far-fetched, warning that conflict was bound to arise if the Philippines continued to push. Meanwhile, it is speculative to assume that Chinese nationals were fishing within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone or EEZ when it allegedly rammed and abandoned a Filipino fishing boat at the Recto Bank in the West Philippine Sea, Malacanang said on Thursday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo clarified an earlier statement he made saying Philippines is not granting access to Chinese nationals to fish within EEZ but was tolerating it in the spirit of their close friendship. And I quote, "The fact is we do not know if Chinese nationals were fishing there at the time of the maritime incident. Everything is purely speculative at this stage, even during the allusion. Facts remain unclear if the Chinese vessel was fishing or only exercising their rights of innocent passage." Panelo stressed that it was prudent to wait for the results of the formal investigation conducted by both the Philippine and Chinese authorities. He also clarified Duterte's statement that it is part of the agreement between the Philippines and China that Filipino fishermen are allowed to fish in the disputed waters in which they both claim ownership of. The presidential spokesperson said he asked Duterte about his statement on Wednesday evening and that he confirmed that indeed that was he meant rather. And I quote, Duterte explained that his first visit to China resulted into a modus vivendi where China, which claims ownership of Reed Bank by virtue of historical right, would allow our fishermen to catch fish there, or a place declared to be within our EEZ, Panelo said. According to Panelo, Duterte also said that China would not permit their nationals from fishing within Philippine EEZ. And I quote, "It appears that what the president meant was China would not allow their nationals from fishing in our EEZ, since they treat us as their friends, knowing that permitting their fishermen to fish in our EEZ would only result in an unwanted hostility leading to unarmed confrontation," Panelo said. Panelo described as unfortunate the confusion made by some media outlets that Duterte was allowing Chinese fishermen in Philippine-owned territories. He meanwhile reiterated that the Philippine government will continue to assert sovereign rights over its EEZ. And I quote, "The Filipinos can rest assured that the President's actions are all in accord with his constitutional mandate to serve and protect the Filipino people," he added. In other news, Myanmar burns drugs on the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in an effort to show it is tackling the multi-billion-dollar industry. Watch this. Meanwhile, Malaysia's former deputy premier under scandal-plagued ex-leader Najib Razak was hit with 7 fresh corruption charges Wednesday for allegedly receiving about $3 million in bribes. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, now an opposition leader who was a key figure in the former regime, has now been charged with a total of 54 counts of corruption since his long-ruling coalition lost power last year. The latest charges will relate to allegations that he received 4.2 million Singaporean dollars or $3.1 million in 2017 and 2018 from a company in exchange for their extending their contract to issue visas. Ahmed Zahid pleaded not guilty to all counts during a court appearance in Kuala Lumpur and was freed on bail. If found guilty, the 66 years old faces a lengthy jail term. He has denied all previous charges leveled at him. He is also set to face a further 33 charges in court Thursday for allegedly receiving $10 million in kickbacks, according to the anti-graft agency. The veteran politician is president of the United Maoris National Organization, or UMNO, the linchpin in a coalition of parties that ruled Malaysia from independence in 1957 until their shock defeat in May polls. But he has been placed on leave since he was first charged in October. Najib has also been arrested and charged over allegations he oversaw the plundering of State Fund 1 MTB, a scandal that played a major part in the election defeat. He has been on trial for the allegations since April. U.S. authorities say more than $4.5 billion was misappropriated from the fund and spent on everything from yachts to artwork. ASEAN in Focus will be right back. Stay tuned.
Letters and Music, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, 1:00 hanggang 2:00 ng hapon. Landmarks, Linggo, 6:00 hanggang 7:00 ng gabi.
Ang galit sa puso ko'y napapawi pag umuit sa isip ang iyong mukhang tulad ng langit.
Hi, ako po si Jay Durias. Abangan niyo po ako ngayong Linggo, 8:00 ng gabi, dito lang sa Net 25.
Langit, dito sa'yo.
Welcome back. Cambodia authorities burned more than 2 tons of drugs, including heroin, methamphetamine. Cambodia has taken a hard line on drugs in recent years in response to smugglers turning the country into a transit point, particularly for heroin and methamphetamine. Watch this. Meanwhile, dozens of climate activists held a protest outside the Japanese embassy in Manila on Wednesday, ahead of the Group of 20 summit on June 28th to 29th that will be held in Osaka. The protesters were calling on heads of state and governments, but in particular on Japan, to end the funding of coal and fossil fuel projects and to do more to fight climate change. While renewables account for 16% of Japan's energy supply, nuclear energy remained at just 3% in 2017, compared to the target of 20% to 22%, according to an energy white paper adopted by the cabinet earlier this month.
G20 is the group of the wealthiest nations on the planet, and they are going to talk, among other things, about climate. And we have to remind people that the G20 is actually responsible for a lot of the greenhouse gas emissions, the bulk of the greenhouse gas emissions that is causing climate change.
In other news, Malaysia authorities have arrested 4 Indians and seized more than 14 kilograms of drugs and over 5,000 turtles from their luggage at the Kuala Lumpur airport. Senior customs official Zulkarnain Mohammed Yusuf said agents found a total of 5,255 turtles kept in small baskets from the luggage of 2 Indian nationals who flew in from Guangzhou, China on June 20. Though Zulkarnain described the seized creatures as tortoises during a press conference Wednesday, the smuggled species is the red ear slider turtle. He said the man told investigators the turtles, estimated to be worth $12,700, were meant to be sold as pets in India. Zulkarnain on Wednesday said officials also found a total of 14.34 kilograms of methamphetamine worth 717,000 ringgit, or $174,000, hidden in special compartments and boxes that were hand-carried by 2 men who flew in from India on June 19 and June 20, respectively.
Dan jika sabit kesalahan, boleh dikenakan hukuman minimum fine 10 kali ganda nilai atau RM50,000 yang mana lebih tinggi. Maximum fine 20 kali ganda nilai ataupun RM500,000 yang mana lebih tinggi, ataupun penjara tidak melebihi tempoh 5 tahun atau kedua-dua sekali.
Itu dah mungkin dah tu. Yang kemuat pemantauan kata passenger.
ASEAN in Focus will be right back. Stay tuned.
The Cine Bata Video Festival is calling for submission of entries, with this year's theme, United in Love. If you are a Filipino video content creator, show us your best work for a chance to represent the Philippines. Deadline of submission is on August 30, 2019. For inquiries, visit or contact the following.
Welcome back. The ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, or ACC MSME, commemorates MSME Day 2019 to recognize the importance of MSMEs in promoting innovation, creativity, and decent work. The celebration also aims to encourage the formalization, participation, and growth of MSMEs in international, regional, and national markets, including through access for all to capacity building. Watch this.
The digital economy of ASEAN is rapidly expanding to more than 330 million internet users. Micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as foreign startup companies, are leading the way in this emerging market.
Myanmar has opened up recently and people are moving from no phone to smartphones. What we do is we connect freelancers with businesses, especially startups and SMEs. We've got 14,000 freelancers on board and we're working with over 200 clients.
In Cambodia, public transport has a lot of room for improvement in areas such as fairness, safety, and efficiency.
We bring the technology with the standards price. Passenger can find the driver very fast, and the driver can find the passenger easily as well.
Here in the Philippines and other emerging markets, you see more real-world problems that could be solved through digitalization. Our international payment system helps people manage their properties wherever they are. They could facilitate any types of payments and use different funding methods that normally would have been available here in the Philippines.
Vietnam's growing population and need for flexible housing solutions created an opportunity for a local technology startup.
We think about the smart lock. We pre-place the physical key on the door. Everything is connected by your smartphone.
In subsidiary group, the digital technology is changing all the whole process. I can monitor what is product from my factory, our distributor, how much they have left. We can sell our product through the internet. I can deal with customer in any country in the world.
Indonesia is an archipelago and very widespread. The digitalization helps so much, not only in terms of the consumer side, but also in terms of how we build our supply chain. What we do is we bring forgotten food to the global market, and we also bring the stories and values behind the product.
MSMEs are looking for software solutions that are customizable and require low upfront cost. Our software is developed locally, and we understand the ASEAN market and the local challenges faced by small and medium enterprises.
Factory digitalization and automation significantly raised the level of productivity while maintaining low rate of errors. This has allowed the company to quickly react to fast-changing market demands.
Our product is QR code system that can identify between counterfeit and real product. The brand owner can start the personalized marketing plan or promotion. Digital technology can enable direct communication between business owners and consumers.
We see it as a mission to convey the importance of ICT in Laos and to progress the region from its current state to a higher level by transferring knowledge to a younger generation of entrepreneurs.
Companies that are able to accurately seize the consumer's need have substantial promise of growth in ASEAN. Omise is one example of a foreign startup that has successfully taken advantage of the thriving online consumer market.
The benefit of the starting business in the ASEAN is you can expect significant growth, significant demand. People are not afraid adopting new technologies, and we can bring back this whole package to developed countries such as Japan.
The ASEAN governments are currently putting supportive policies in place and initiate regional efforts to assist MSMEs with digitalization.
MSMEs benefit from ASEAN economic integration, especially in digitalization. ASEAN governments help MSMEs in adopting digital technology and creating new business. For Thailand and many ASEAN countries, the most challenging and critical issue is the necessity of the digital adoption of micro enterprises.
ASEAN businesses are increasingly embracing digital technology. The ASEAN Success Storybook tells the story of 50 companies that are flourishing thanks to the use of digital technologies. The MSMEs featured are promoting further digitalization and contribute to enhancing the quality of life as well as industrial structures in ASEAN. Japan continues to stand by ASEAN as one of its oldest friends, recognizing 45 years of ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation, and the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Amex.
And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Demera, and I'm 1 with 25.